Hey everybody, Scott here, and today we're going to go take a look at a lighthouse. Who doesn't like lighthouses? So in San Diego there is a national park right at the southern end of the Point Loma Peninsula called the Cabrillo National Monument, and there's an old lighthouse there. It's been, decommissioned as far as being a lighthouse, but it's a popular spot. It's very nice, picturesque. I mean, who doesn't love a good lighthouse? And there's interesting thing about the park is that it's only reached by going through military land. So it's only open at very specific times during the day and limited hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's it, no exceptions. That really significantly reduces the possibility for sunset or picture. Sunrise, forget about it. You're not going onto the land before sunrise unless you get special permission. But sunset, during the winter months, you have a chance. You have a window of about a half an hour where you can get something going on, and so that's what I set out to do. So let me show you where we were on the map, and some footage from the scene.
Cabrillo National Monument sits at the southern tip of the Point Loma Peninsula. So here's downtown San Diego, and on the opposite side, here's where the peninsula is. I'll zoom in here just a little bit. We can see where the lighthouse itself is. There we go. And this park area, there's some places you're able to walk pretty well. The areas that are in gray generally mean there's not much of a place for foot traffic. There might be some basic, hiking trails that snake down, but there's a pretty steep drop off. This sits quite high off of sea level. I'd say, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred feet at least, and these are pretty steep drops. Let me switch over to the maps. So here's the peninsula. And let me zoom in here. And so this area is where all of the national park is. Everything to the north of it is all military land. And I'll zoom right in here. Here's our lighthouse. And there's a walkway along this ridge that overlooks the ocean. And let me switch into the 3D mode. You can see that this is a pretty steep change in elevation, right? So the lighthouse is up top here, then this drops off pretty quickly down to the coast. So spinning around, I was standing along this pathway here, shooting at the lighthouse. The sun is going to be setting over in this area and lighting up, the southern facing side.
So I'm set up on the edge of the cliff face that snakes its way up toward the lighthouse, and that makes a nice natural leading line. And the way I'm framed up is we'll get some of these trees on the side there. The lighthouse will be in the upper right corner of the frame with the cliffside leading up to it. And as the sun dips down, I'm hoping that some of the kind of the natural wash that's made a couple of trails in the hillside itself, those will light up differently than the scrub and provide another reinforcing line leading up to that lighthouse.
So that composition that you saw in the video, the cliffs in the foreground and kind of that leading line going up toward the lighthouse, I kept with that up until about 7 to 8 minutes before sunset. Once the sun got low enough on the horizon where the marine layer and the clouds that already start to form over the horizon started to block the light hitting the cliff faces, I panned to the right and took photos of the clouds. The clouds were very interesting, but that was a mistake on my part. That was an impatient thing. I should have not done that. I mean, yes, they're nice clouds, but there was no foreground element. It turned out not to be a very interesting abstract. And as a result, when the sun finally went down and the sky lit up, it was beautiful oranges and pinks. I scrambled to recompose that same positioning that I had. And I couldn't pull it off exactly right. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get your camera in the exact same position as it was before. Even though my tripod legs didn't move, the ball head, I adjusted that. I knew what my focal length was. I dialed that back in. It was not the best decision. I should have stuck with that composition. I had some success because I was able to also tighten up and take a close-up shot of just the lighthouse itself. You can see here, this is it's a very, very nice shot. It wasn't exactly what I was after. The image that I had in my mind is this one here, which I was able to put together with a few of the frames that I took, the ones that were before the sun went down and then the ones after when the sky really lit up. But it was much more difficult to do this in post than it should have been. I'm happy with the tight shot. I'm happy with both shots, really. What I guess the lesson for this week is what I'm unhappy with is my impatience. I should have stuck with the composition that I set out to get. So that would be my advice is, you've dialed in your composition. Light situations change. That half hour from 10 minutes before the sun goes down to 20 minutes afterward, things change a lot in the sky. And if you're looking to capture multiple frames to blend together to get that that memory, what I remember from being there was with this image here with the lighthouse. The light went on in the lighthouse. It's beautifully bathed in orange light. The sky is pink and purple and orange. That's great. But to get that, you need to be patient. So don't change up your composition if you're planning on doing that, or bring another camera and take pictures of other things with your other camera. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be coming back soon with some in-post on this one and show you some of the pain points that went into making that final image because of my impatience. That's it for this week. We'll see you again soon. Again, leave a comment, reach out, let me know what you like, let me know what you want to hear more about, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.